A major legal showdown is looming as the U.S. military's ongoing operations in Iran face a crucial deadline. Without congressional authorization, the legality of these actions could be challenged, sparking a constitutional crisis. Here's what you need to know about today's unfolding situation. On April 30th, 2026, tensions escalated in the ongoing Iran conflict as the U.S. military faces a critical May 1st deadline. This deadline arises from a vote by U.S. Senate lawmakers on April 15th, where a resolution to require congressional approval for military operations was blocked by a narrow margin of 52 to 47. The Trump administration has been conducting military operations in Iran without congressional authorization, raising significant legal and constitutional questions. The implications of this situation are profound, as it calls into question the balance of power between Congress and the presidency in matters of war and peace. Key figures in this conflict include President Donald Trump and Senator Tim Kaine, who have publicly criticized the administration's actions. Kaine has argued that the lack of congressional authorization undermines democratic processes and risks escalating military engagement without sufficient oversight. The situation is particularly alarming because if military operations continue past the deadline without authorization, it could lead to a constitutional crisis. Congress would be faced with the difficult decision of whether to fund ongoing military efforts, creating a potential rift within the government. This scenario is markedly different from previous conflicts, as it highlights a growing disconnect between the executive branch and Congress regarding military engagement. The War Powers Resolution of 1973 was designed to limit presidential power in military matters, yet recent actions have raised questions about its effectiveness. The implications of this standoff could fundamentally alter the legal landscape for military operations abroad, as it would challenge the administration's authority to act unilaterally without legislative approval. The countdown to the May 1st deadline is now a focal point for lawmakers and military strategists alike. The stakes are high, not just for U.S. foreign policy, but also for the precedent it sets regarding executive power. As discussions unfold, lawmakers will need to navigate the political ramifications of their decisions, balancing national security interests with constitutional responsibilities. The coming days will be critical in determining the future of U.S. military involvement in Iran, as well as the broader implications for executive authority in military operations. The outcome of this standoff may redefine the contours of American governance for years to come. The significance of this impending deadline cannot be overstated. As military operations in Iran continue without congressional authorization after May 1st, the lack of legal justification could lead to a constitutional crisis that challenges the very foundations of American democracy. The War Powers Resolution of 1973 mandates that Congress be consulted before military action can be taken, and failure to adhere to this could undermine the legislative branch's authority, raising questions about the balance of power between Congress and the executive branch. Already, public sentiment is shifting. A recent poll indicates that 62% of Americans oppose the military actions in Iran, citing a lack of clear strategy and transparency from the administration. This growing discontent is not just a fleeting sentiment. It has the potential to influence future elections and reshape the political landscape in the U.S. Candidates may find themselves pressured to take a stand on military interventions, reflecting the electorate's desire for a more restrained approach to foreign engagements. Furthermore, the implications extend beyond U.S. borders. Key allies, such as NATO partners, are closely monitoring the situation to gauge U.S. reliability in military engagements. The perception of a weak U.S. response to congressional authority could embolden adversaries like Russia and China, who may feel more inclined to challenge U.S. military operations abroad. This shift could alter the balance of power in international relations, leading to increased global instability. Economically, continued conflict in the Middle East could lead to disruptions in oil supply, potentially driving up prices and impacting global markets. The interconnectedness of today's economy means that rising oil prices can lead to increased costs for consumers and businesses alike, further straining household budgets and corporate bottom lines. Understanding these dynamics is critical for anyone concerned about the future of U.S. foreign policy and its implications for everyday life. As the May 1st deadline approaches, the pressure mounts on Congress to assert its authority. This will not only determine the course of military action, but also shape public trust in government institutions. The outcome of this situation could set a precedent for how military engagements are handled in the future, making it essential for lawmakers to act decisively in the coming weeks. The decisions made in this critical period will resonate for years to come, influencing both domestic policy and international relations. The roots of the current situation can be traced back to 2025, when the Trump administration initiated military operations against Iran, citing national security concerns over its nuclear program. Tensions escalated throughout the year, with repeated incidents in the Strait of Hormuz and cyber warfare attributed to Iranian actors. These provocations not only heightened military readiness, but also strained diplomatic relations in the region, leading to a precarious atmosphere characterized by distrust and hostility. Despite calls for congressional oversight, the administration consistently bypassed legislative approval, raising significant questions about executive power and accountability in military affairs. The recent vote on April 15, 2026, marked the fourth attempt by lawmakers to assert their authority over military actions, demonstrating a growing frustration among Congress members that has roots in historical precedents. Comparisons can be drawn to the Vietnam War, where a lack of clear congressional authorization led to widespread dissent and protests, ultimately reshaping public opinion and policy. The key players in this conflict, including President Trump and influential senators like Tim Kaine, have differing perspectives on the necessity and legality of military operations, reflecting broader ideological divides within American politics. This history of unilateral military action without accountability has created a volatile environment where legal and constitutional implications are now at the forefront of U.S. governance. The ongoing conflict not only impacts U.S.-Iran relations, but also influences global energy markets and regional stability, with rising oil prices signaling potential economic repercussions. As military engagements continue, the potential for escalation remains high, prompting concerns among allies and adversaries alike. Looking ahead, the outcome of these legislative efforts will significantly shape the future of U.S. military engagement, potentially redefining the balance of power between Congress and the presidency in ways that will resonate for years to come. As the May 1st deadline approaches, the United States faces a critical juncture regarding its military operations abroad. The tensions surrounding this situation stem from a long-standing debate over the balance of power between Congress and the executive branch in matters of war. Historically, the War Powers Resolution of 1973 was enacted to ensure that Congress retains a significant role in military engagements. However, successive administrations have often bypassed this framework, leading to ongoing disputes over the scope of executive authority. As Congress contemplates its next steps, several scenarios could unfold. One possibility is that lawmakers will intervene and pass a resolution to formally authorize or deny further military operations, which could reshape U.S. foreign policy and redefine the parameters of military engagement in the Middle East. Alternatively, if the administration opts to continue operations without congressional authorization, it risks sparking legal challenges that may escalate to the Supreme Court, potentially setting a landmark precedent for future military actions. Experts have cautioned that an extended conflict could escalate if Iran interprets a lack of congressional backing as a tacit approval for further military aggression. The implications of this situation extend beyond U.S. borders, as allies and adversaries alike scrutinize America's commitment to its foreign policy principles. Key indicators to watch in the coming days include congressional responses, shifts in public sentiment, and any statements from military leaders regarding operational strategy. As we stand on the brink of a constitutional showdown, one pressing question remains. Will Congress reclaim its authority over military actions, or will the executive branch continue to operate unchallenged? The decisions made in the coming days will not only impact the immediate conflict, but will also set the tone for U.S. military policy for years to come. As we face this critical turning point, how will Congress respond to reclaim its authority over military actions? Share your thoughts and predictions in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more daily deep dives into the news.